What is up, guys? Today we're looking at 5 of the biggest mistakes that people make in lane that you can abuse to get kills and get a lead. These are especially things that I've noticed lower elo players doing a lot. Thank you to Pro Guides again for helping to edit this video. Don't forget their new Genius feature, which connects you to a high elo player instantly for any questions you have. Remember to like this video if you did, dislike it if you didn't, but let's jump into the first thing. The most abusable thing, and the thing most people don't use, are minions. People are greedy, they want farms, so we're going to use that against them. There are a few different ways of doing this, but basically it comes down to the fact that when someone goes to CS, that is the one time where you know where they're going to be, where you can predict where they'll stand to get that minion. This is probably the one thing you can abuse in every elo. In every game, it doesn't matter whether you're challenger or challenged, you can definitely use this to your advantage. So moving swiftly on, there are kind of 2 different ways to abuse this. The first one is using it to force trades. Like, they are really looking for that minion, right? That's what they want, so they take that and you hit them with an auto attack or ability while they do it. They basically have to make a choice. That's what you're forcing them to do. They either miss a CS and trade with you, or more likely they take the damage from you and choose to get the CS instead. It's actually fine if they do trade. You can always just run backwards and at least they've missed a CS, especially considering most times they will just let you hit them. It's definitely worth doing. This is especially true with cannon minions. People just don't want to miss them and will sometimes even end up dying just because they come too close for the cannon and ignored you running at them. The second way is the prediction side of things. You can guess where they're going to stand to be in range to auto the CS down, and so that means you can fire your skill shots to that location and stand a better chance of hitting them. So those are the 2 things you can abuse. You can force a trade when they're going to CS and get some free damage, or aim skill shots better because you'll have a good idea of where they're going to stand to get the CS. The second one is abusing cooldowns. This is the basic thing that literally every trade or kill most likely starts from. This is the core of how you win trades and win your lane. It's really simple, but basically when the enemy has used an ability, it's then on cooldown and they can't use it on you if you fire it. I know it sounds really obvious, that part is obvious, but I bet you aren't actively thinking that you should take advantage of this in a game. Think of this against an Ahri, right? If she uses her Q on the minion wave and then comes to attack you, what is she going to do? She can't Q, that's most of her damage, so just give her a good old slap. The mistake aspect of this is just that. Players will still trade even after they've used their cooldown, so they'll lose the fight. Next time an enemy uses their main spell, you have a window where you can abuse them and punish them for having that on cooldown. Really what they should do, and what you should do in this situation on the reverse, is run away. They wait for the cooldown and then come back in, but most people aren't going to do that. They're going to fight you and they'll run when they realize they're losing. There is another side to this, okay? So when you're actually fighting, like even if they use their abilities on you, once they've done that damage from them, they have to wait a while before doing it again. This is a way I get a lot of kills, honestly. It's like a twisted fate, right? He's the one I abuse the most. If he ever uses his card on me, even the wild cards, even if they both hit me, they might do like a third of my health or something. It looks like I'm losing the trade, but he has to wait another 6 seconds or whatever it is to do that again, and that's where I can even up the trade and hurt him where he can't do anything back to me. Most players in that situation will use their abilities and then still auto attack you because they've done more damage to you, so they think they're winning. They have nothing left though, and that is where you can turn on them. So the third thing, the famous level 2 power spike and also getting level 6. This still happens in my diamond games. How? I have no idea. Sometimes people aren't paying attention to their minion count. Sometimes they're just dumb. I have no idea. But getting level 2 first and fighting is a great way to get a lead early. For bot lane, you're going to need the 3 fighter minions from the second wave plus the entire first wave. For mid and top, you'll need just 1 fighter from the second wave plus the first wave. The reason I am actually pointing out the first wave, even though everyone knows that, is because it's so important to make sure all the first wave minions are dead when the second arrives. Even if there's just 1 caster at the back that you left, it's unlikely you're going to be able to get to that to kill it, because as you go forward, the enemy laner will hit you for it, and that means you won't get level 2 with the 3 fighters where your opponent will. This is so important. I cannot say that enough. Like, it's one of the first things I ever cover with people when I coach. Make sure the first wave is dead as the second arrives. So we don't ever want to do that, but on the flip side, if you can zone the enemy at all during the first wave or make one of your casters survive, then you obviously have that advantage over them. Level 2 is a big difference in power, and most people don't back off early enough, so you'll get some kind of damage, an advantage, maybe even a kill. You definitely see like a level 2 first blood in the bot lane a lot more because there's 2 of you at level 2 now, so that's 4 abilities you can throw at someone's face, which is harder to deal with. The less obvious one is level 6. Getting level 6 before your opponent can actually be pretty huge if you're a slightly more aggressive pick. The amount of times I've heard a teammate say something like, yeah, he got level 6 6 and instantly went on me. I just didn't expect it. Like, it's too damn high. It's a cheesy way to pick up a kill. It shouldn't happen, but it does. The mistake part of this is that the enemy won't back off and respect your level 2 or level 6, or maybe they're just not paying attention and don't expect it, so you abuse the fact that you have more power than them. The fourth one is them staying with no potions, no health, or no mana. This is honestly just greed, and this is the typical thing, like, you know when someone just kind of hides under their tower, they let you push, and then like they try and scrape a few CS? That is such a bad idea. You end up losing more doing it that way than if you would just base and come back. It's not only just that, I mean, that's the first thing, right? They can't CS, they can't get close, and if they do, you need to punish them and kill them. It's also the fact that you basically get a free lane with them doing this. Think of it like if they base, they come back with full health and mana with items, you'll have to base too, and then it's back to everyone at full health fighting again. What they're doing now is just letting you free farm. They're losing CS under tower, and you can maybe even sneak a kill in there. So I see way too many people sit back when the enemy is out of health or has no potions left, when they should be trying to force them away and punish them. Potions are another thing actually. If they don't have the potion but you do, then you can trade. You can both lose health, but the difference is you can heal it back up with a potion and they can't. The other side of this is actually when they're out of mana. This is probably the more uncommon thing that people are punished for. If they have no mana, they can't use spells. That sounds really obvious, right? But I have so many supports to bot lane that just don't want to fight, even though they are out of mana. There are actually a few specific things that you can do here. So one is the obvious: if they are out of mana, fight them because they can't use spells. The second one is baiting the enemy into using what little mana they have left to fight you. They're not going to have enough mana here to full on fight you, so you could still win the trade, but if you have a health potion, this is even better. Effectively what you're doing is trading your health potion for the rest of their mana, so you'll get the health back, but they can't get their mana back as fast. Once you've done that, then they'll be out of mana, and we're back to the first point again. That is the easiest way to abuse the mistake of them not basing with no mana. Fight them and win the trade. This actually leads on to my number 5 point. This is a shorter point, but abusing their lack of wave clear and the mistake of not actively pushing with auto attacks. If you are even or ahead, I normally go by the general idea that if you aren't auto attacking the enemy champion, you should be auto attacking the enemy minions. Most people do not do this, and that is what leads to them being pushed in under tower or having to fall back because they don't have any minions left. Pushing them in is actually going to create a lot of pressure. It forces them to use their spells on the wave, not on you, and it will create a CS lead from basically nothing. The mistake part of this that we're actually going to abuse is them not keeping it out of their tower. They're not focusing the minions like we are, and so losing control of the lane. This might seem like it doesn't matter as much, but it's actually something pretty important. When playing on my unranked to diamond account, I notice this a lot. I am very rarely challenged for lane control, not because they are afraid to fight me or I'm better mechanically or anything like that, but because they aren't auto attacking my minions, so it pushes towards them. You do have to keep in mind their jungler or the other lanes for this one, like where they are, but this is something that especially at lower ranks you can abuse and bully them with. The biggest thing you actually get from this is they are going to miss CS. You can free poke them under tower while they're trying to farm, and they're not going to be able to do anything back to you. This is like the #1 way that you can actually win a lane at lower elo. So that wraps up my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to check out pro guides. A few links will be around for that. Like, subscribe, comment, share, but for now, let's go to the robots.